Yes, there's a confirmation, just not the one you're expecting. There is no Outlander Season 9. But there is something genuinely confirmed, straight from the cast themselves, about why the show ended exactly when it did. And it's a more interesting story than any fake renewal announcement could ever be. Let's break down exactly what's real. Here's what's coming in this video. I'm going to confirm, with direct sourcing, exactly why there's no Season 9. I'm going to reveal something most fans don't know, that Season 8 itself almost didn't happen the way it did. I'm going to walk you through Catriona Balfe and Sam Heughan's own account of insisting on one final season. I'm going to break down how the actual finale ended and why its ambiguity was deliberate. And I'm going to close with the real, confirmed future of this franchise, because the story isn't actually over. Let's get into it. Let's start with the confirmed facts, because you deserve certainty here, not speculation. Starz officially confirmed Season 8 as Outlander's final season on January 19th, 2023, over 3 years before it aired. Season 8 premiered March 6th, 2026, ran exactly 10 episodes, a deliberately leaner order than Season 7's unwieldy 16-episode split run, and concluded with its series finale. Reports differ slightly on the exact date, with some outlets citing May 8th and others confirming the finale aired May 15th, 2026. But every credible source agrees on the same core fact. No Season 9 has been announced. None is expected. Starz' own president of original programming, Catherine Busby, addressed the ending directly in a statement. For nearly a decade, Outlander has won the hearts of audiences worldwide, and we're pleased to bring Claire and Jamie's epic love story to a proper conclusion. That's an official network statement, not a fan theory. Here's your first pattern interrupt, because there's specific, ongoing confusion worth addressing directly. Search this topic right now, and you'll find videos and posts claiming Season 9 already exists. Some even claiming a first look has already been revealed. I found one such video, dated May 13th, 2026, 2 days before the actual series finale even aired. Think about that timeline for a second. A first look at a season that supposedly comes after a finale that hadn't happened yet. That's not a reporting error. That's fabricated content, posted to capture search traffic from a real, ongoing fan conversation about the show's future. I'm not going to treat it as real, and you shouldn't either. Now, let's get into the actual, real confirmation worth knowing about, because it's genuinely more interesting than any fake renewal. Diana Gabaldon's original novel series was expected to span 10 books, which led many fans to assume the show would eventually run 10 full seasons to match. That's not what happened. Instead, something happened behind the scenes that most casual viewers never heard about. In an interview with People, Catriona Balfe confirmed directly that she and Sam Heughan personally insisted on getting one more season, specifically because they believed the show couldn't reach an appropriate conclusion without it. Let's sit with that, because it's a genuinely significant piece of information. This wasn't simply Starz handing down a final season on its own schedule. The show's 2 lead actors, more than a decade into playing these characters, pushed for the additional time needed to actually finish the story properly. Heughan has elaborated on that decision, explaining that even though the cast was genuinely looking forward to exploring new creative opportunities after such a long run, they felt it was essential for the fans to receive a proper send-off, rather than an ending that felt rushed or incomplete. That's the real confirmation worth caring about. Not a fake Season 9, but genuine, on-record proof that this ending was fought for, deliberately, by the two people who'd spent the most time actually living inside this story. Now let's talk about why that fight mattered so much, because Season 8's structure reflects it directly. Season 7 had been split into two uneven, 16-episode halves. Season 8 was deliberately built leaner, 10 focused episodes, specifically designed to bring the story to a proper, unrushed close rather than stretching it further than it needed to go. That's a structural decision that only makes sense once you understand Balfe and Huon's actual, confirmed motivation. They weren't fighting for more seasons for their own sake. They were fighting for enough time to end the story correctly, then stopping. Let's talk about how that ending actually plays out, because the finale itself directly reflects that same philosophy, prioritizing emotional truth over a tidy, simple resolution. The final episode centers on the long-foreshadowed Battle of King's Mountain. Jaime spends the episode behaving like a man who already senses his own fate. He settles his affairs. He has a final, quiet conversation with his daughter, Brianna. He asks Claire to fulfill 3 final wishes if he dies: to remember him, to find a priest to lay his soul to rest, and to take their family back to her own time through the stones. She agrees to the first 2. She refuses the third, telling him Scotland and their family is her home now. The battle unfolds quickly. The British surrender. For one brief moment, Jaime and Claire share a relieved look. He's survived. Then Major Ferguson shoots him. Claire collapses beside him, eventually lying down next to him, as if the two of them are simply falling asleep together, one final time. She exhales. The show deliberately does not clarify whether that's her falling asleep or her dying alongside him. From there, the finale shifts into something dreamlike, revisiting the show's biggest emotional moments in a flashback montage before landing on its most debated image. Claire's hair, fully white. The two of them, still. And then, suddenly, both of them take a massive breath. They're alive. Here's your mid-video rehook, because that white hair isn't a random visual choice. Earlier in the series, a prophecy tied to a character named Adawehi established that reaching the height of your own personal power or magic causes your hair to turn white. Claire's hair turning white in that exact moment strongly suggests she reached that peak and used it to revive Jaime, the same way she once revived their daughter Faith earlier in the show. That's a real, textually supported reading. But showrunner Matthew B. Roberts has deliberately refused to confirm it as the definitive answer. Asked point-blank by Variety whether he'd share what actually happened, his response was simple: "No, I do not." His reasoning, in his own words: "If I say definitively, this is what you should take from it, then I think that diminishes your experience." Even the cast has embraced that same ambiguity, rather than fighting it. Sam Heughan, asked what that final shot actually means, offered his own uncertain, open-ended read. "I guess it's up to interpretation, but are they now somewhere else? Maybe they're in a different realm. There's definitely something eternal about these two." That's not evasion for the sake of marketing. That's the two actors who fought for this ending, choosing to let it remain genuinely open, exactly the way they'd already decided together, on their very first day back on set for Season 8, according to Balfe's own account of that conversation with Heughan. Now let's get into the actual confirmed future of this franchise, because the confirmation people are searching for does exist, just not in the form of a 9th season. Outlander. Blood of my blood, The prequel series focused on the parents of Jamie Fraser and Claire Beauchamp, premiered August 8, 2025 on Starz. It was renewed for a second season before its first season had even finished airing. That's a real, confirmed continuation of this franchise. A potential Lord John Grey spin-off has also been discussed publicly, though it hasn't received an official green light yet. Gabaldon has already written several standalone novels centered on that character, giving any future spin-off genuine, existing source material to draw from. There's also a real structural reason some fan confusion persists, worth understanding directly. Diana Gabaldon's main novel series isn't actually finished. The show concluded before her next book, titled A Blessing for a Warrior Going Out, has even been released. That means the television show wrapped ahead of where the books themselves are heading. If Outlander were to somehow return to screen someday, adapting events from that still unpublished novel is a genuinely plausible path, though nothing like that has been confirmed or greenlit. That's real, honest uncertainty about a distant possibility, which is a very different thing from an active Season 9 already being real right now. Now here's my honest read on what all of this actually means. I think the real story here isn't about whether Season 9 exists. It's about the fact that Balfe and Hugan cared enough about these characters, after more than a decade, to personally fight for the extra time needed to end their story properly, rather than letting it get cut short. I think the finale's ambiguity was the direct result of that fight, a deliberate choice by two actors and a showrunner who understood that a definitive, spelled-out answer would have been a lesser ending than the open, eternal one they ultimately gave Jamie and Claire. And I think the franchise's actual future, through Blood of My Blood, and possibly through a Lord John Grey spin-off someday, honors that same instinct, expanding the world these two built without cheapening the specific ending they fought to protect. So here's where that actually leaves us. No Season 9. No fictional continuation nobody asked the actors to fight for, but a real, confirmed, deeply human story behind why this show ended exactly when it did, fought for by the two people who knew these characters best, and an ending built specifically to honor that fight, rather than rush past it. Now I want to hear from you. Now that you know Balfe and Hugan personally pushed for this extra season specifically to get a proper ending, does that change how you feel about the finale's ambiguity? Do you think Claire actually revived Jamie, the same way she revived Faith? Or do you read that final breath differently? And knowing there's no Season 9, are you more interested in Blood of My Blood, or in the possibility of a Lord John Grey spin-off down the line? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe if you want real, accurate coverage of this franchise, the confirmed facts, not fabricated ones. And I'll see you in the next one.